we'll be shifting gears from the normal videos you're used to seeing. Today we'll be talking about a fragrance from an indie house, a perfuming house that makes fragrances but also sells fragrances, a brick and mortar store by the name of Perfumology. The fragrance is called Clutch. Stay tuned. Greetings and salutations, my fellow fragrance connoisseurs. My name is Joshua, if you don't already know that, and this channel is our channel, ScentSense. To the loyal subscribers and the confidants who continue to come back each and every video, to you people, thank you so much. And to all you new people who are maybe checking out the channel for the very first time, or maybe you've checked it out before and you're still kind of on the fence and you haven't made up your mind, this isn't the Golden State Warriors. It isn't a dumpster fire. It'll be good for a few years coming, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Today we'll be talking about a fragrance from a house which was founded by a guy by the name of Near Guy, who owns a brick and mortar store called Perfumology. Perfumology is also a brick and mortar store by the same name and also has a website called www.perfumology.com. Near's goal from talking to him and from my take is to bring fragrances that most people don't know about, fragrances that deserve limelight, fragrances that deserve wearings and deserve interpretations from people who really want to know more about fragrances past the basic stuff that you smell every day. That's what he does. He brings that to the front line. When it comes to their website, they have fragrance from brands that you know of, such as Imaginary Authors, Etat Libre d'Orange, Juicebox, and many, many more. But more importantly, they do one thing that not a lot of brick and mortars do. They have their own fragrance line. And the best part about it is they're actually all very, very good. But today we'll be talking about a fall staple in my collection, a fragrance that did make my top 10 niche list. You've probably already seen that video, and if you haven't, you can click here. But if you didn't click and you want to continue to watch, let's go ahead and talk about Perfumology's Clutch. Perfumology Clutch, in my opinion, is a perfect fall scent. This is something that you can wear, and if I could paint a picture, you could be driving down a winding road with the top down, the cool breeze in your face, and the fall autumn leaves falling down and rustling on the asphalt as you drive over it. I really feel like that's what he was trying to capture with this fragrance, and if that's what he did it well. So let's go ahead and talk about the presentation. As you all know, I don't keep the boxes, but one of the cool things about the boxes is that they do send these in. They're cardboard boxes, but they're meant to be easily degradable, easily thrown away, and have very little waste. They also have a really cool etching where the name of the fragrance is cut all the way through the entirety of the cardboard box, and it's layers of cardboard, so it almost has a 3D graphic effect. It's also sealed with a wax seal, which adds a little bit extra to that presentation. And the best part of it is the presentation is meant for you and you only, for that one-time opening, that special feeling you get from opening it, but it's meant to be thrown away. It's not meant to be kept. That way, there's no waste. When it comes to the bottle, it's very simplistic. It's just a square bottle. It's glass. It's got the stem all the way down to the bottom. It's cut perfectly at the bottom. It's got etched in the front, Perfumology, Clutch, Parfum, and it has the size here. There's no batch code, there's no sticker, so yours is yours, and you probably really don't know which batch you have. It is press sealed. No, this is not one that you can unscrew and simply, pour out. This is not a super stock bottle. It looks like a stock bottle, but it does have its own, ambiance to it, if you will. It's not completely cheap. It's got a gold metal cap that matches the color of the juice inside, which I kind of like. As far as atomizer, it's a pretty decent atomizer. It's not the best, but it's definitely not the worst. So before I describe what I just smelled, let's go ahead and get into the notes. In the top, you're gonna get smoke and elemi. In the mid, you're gonna get cedar, oak, and ginger. And in the base, you're gonna get leather, vanilla, and musk. So what do I get from this fragrance? Right at the opening, you're going to get a sweet smoke. I know that sounds weird, but imagine if you had a scented candle that you blew out. You still have the remnants of the smell of the candle, but that smoky nature that comes from the burning of the wick, that's what you're gonna get with this. The elemi in the top really lends credence to that. Elemi is a note that you're gonna smell in a lot of popular fragrances that really work well in the fall, such as Spice Bomb. It doesn't take long for those mid notes to creep in. The ginger does add a little bit of freshness, so I feel in the cold winter air, and especially in the cooler autumn days, this is really going to present itself well. It's going to push off of your skin. So you're going to get that kind of citrus-like effect from the ginger, that freshness that really pushes off of the skin where it won't feel like such a heavy, dense fragrance that just sits on you. And then those woody notes such as cedar and oak tend to come to the forefront, and those are the fragrance notes that kind of lend credence to that vibe that I was speaking of, smelling the whipping of the air as you drive through it with some cedar trees and some oak trees, and that's woody notes that everyone has come to love when it comes to the fall months. In the base, you're going to get leather, musk, and vanilla. The vanilla is definitely present through the entirety of the fragrance, in my opinion. It is the sweetness that sits in the background, that constantly reaches into the foreground and reminds you it's there, but nestles itself back in the background and lets you know, hey, I'm still here, just chilling in the back. The musk adds a solid base to the fragrance, something that keeps it grounded, something that doesn't let all those sweet notes push off and choke you and get really cloying. The leather you're going to smell in this really gives me that leather glove vibe, man. Driving a European sports car, gripping the steering wheel as you're shifting the clutch. I think this is a really, really cool fragrance if you just close your eyes and really try to imagine that emotion and evoke that visual, response and smell this. I feel like it's easy to see what they were trying to do with Clutch. So let's get into how this thing performs. When it comes to performance, Perfumology's Clutch definitely revs up its engine. As far as projection, this one definitely pushes out, and I think will work very, very well in those fall, autumn nights. If you're sitting around a bonfire or maybe having a few drinks outside around a little heater or something where you're all visiting with some friends, maybe having a night out together, maybe watching a football game. Here in South Louisiana, we like to watch football games outside. I know that's weird. You get a flat screen, you mount it up, you cook a little something, you sit around a fire. That's just how we do things here. And with that, this would be perfect. As far as longevity, I think this thing will last somewhere between 8 and 10 hours. I haven't really had a lot of experience with it yet. I've only worn it a couple times. I do think that it performs well in the couple of times I've worn it, but I haven't had that experience where I've worn it for a full day and I haven't taken off that clothes. So as far as performance, I haven't gotten a whole lot of experience with it, but what I will say is it definitely smells like and feels like it's gonna last long. As far as sillage, this will definitely leave a presence where you've been. I wore this on the way to church. When we got out of church and got back in the car, I could still smell me in the car as I got into the car. And I was slightly confused, so I got out of the car and said, hey babe, get in the car and tell me what you smell. She got in the car and she said, well, of course, I smell you. I said, but does it smell like it smells like me because of where I'm standing or in the car? She goes, no, it smells like you sprayed it in the car. Did you bring the bottle with you and spray it on just now? Or did you spray it on in the car on the way to church? And the answer to both of those was no, because the bottle was sitting here at home. If you're looking for something that's definitely going to come in clutch for the fall season, and if you're looking for something that's new and unique, and you're looking for a fragrance brand to really start off something new because you're tired of the same humdrum from other niche and indie fragrance houses such as Amouage and Xerjoff and different fragrance brands like that, and you want something new and something exciting, Perfumology is the way to go. As I said before, there's two ways to get their fragrances: their brick and mortar store and also on their website. This fragrance was sent to me for free per my review, but it's also been sent to me for free because me and Near are good friends. And whether I made this video or not, this was a gift and I definitely cherish it nonetheless. As of now, if I'm not mistaken, there's 4 fragrances from the line. There is Clutch, there's Laima, there's Grange, and there's Bliss. So to summarize the line, Bliss is a fragrance that was a love letter written to his wife. If I had to guess, this would be a perfect fragrance for you to get your lady or for you ladies. Grange is a fragrance that reminds him of his childhood, running through the forest, people drinking beers and partying in the woods. That's what you're going to get from it. I actually really enjoy it. It does have fig in it, and if I'm not mistaken, it's to induce that smell of beer and hanging out in the woods. He also has a fragrance called Laima, which means for mom, and simply, it's a fragrance he made for his mom. It's supposed to harken back to his days of walking around in their garden and the smell of the fresh floral nature of the garden and some of the vegetation in the garden. And it's a very, very beautiful fragrance, and you'll be hearing about that fragrance soon because I also have a bottle of that. And last but not least, the Fall Guy. The fragrance that's going to work when you're trying to shift through those gears and get through your day in the cold winter months and also fall time. Clutch. So enough rambling. Go ahead and check them out on their website or in their brand new store that they just opened. Again, that's Perfumology. All right, let's get the comment section rolling. What do you think about the brand Perfumology? Have you experienced it? Are you gonna go out and smell it? Do you enjoy the Powerline t-shirt that references the Goofy movie? If you don't know what that is, you're lame. You're not lame, you're pretty cool because you watch this channel. But you should go watch this movie. And while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the channel? That way you can see when my new content comes out, and that way you will be a part of this constant growing group. And if you don't want to subscribe, no sweat. But if you do subscribe, or if you already are subscribed and you haven't, why don't you go ahead and smash that notification bell? That way when my videos come out, you will be the first to know. And as always, and most importantly, I'll smell each and every one of you later. Peace!